it.
They present the popular radio program Political Platform on the Ray Power FM network. Ray Power FM Political Platform, now on television. Keep track of the country's polity and be part of the process as they discuss and put political developments in the country into perspective. It's Ray Power Political Platform on AIT Abuja.
Hello out there, and thanks for joining us on Political Platform. It's a Monday and a public holiday in Nigeria. And we want to thank you for, as always, giving us all your time. 30 minutes, we'll be running around all the terrain and we'll be providing you all the details. It's not too good. A story from the medical area, as doctors in public hospitals are beginning their strike indefinitely this morning. We'll be trying to link up with our correspondent who will be telling us why, how, and where it's probably leading us to. That is in addition to the ASU strike that is continuing. And for the Reverend Father C.Y. Onukwo, who was kidnapped in the Banana Junction along the Olu-Owerri Road and was murdered at the weekend, it is a lot of cries and weeping for people around that area. The second time this is happening, you recall that the Reverend Father was kidnapped in Benue State the last time, and he was also murdered inside the bush. This one was also murdered inside the bush, and the police confirmed that all the efforts to track him down, take him out, rescue him, led to the discovery of the body in the bush. Very, very sad one. And when we add this to the crisis in Benue, as a result of the floods in Makurdi, you know that it was not particularly a good weekend as we are talking about. But the Salah went all out there, and somebody has written to us to commend the military authorities for providing security. Those days, you remember that when a festival is coming like this, everybody will be so apprehensive. No incident was reported, except in Kano, where the supporters of the Governor Ganduje and the supporters of Kwankwaso had a face-off. Their continued face-off led to a crisis in the palace of the emir, where at least 2 persons were believed to have been injured in the crisis. That fight is like a volcano that is boiling under. Sometimes it just erupts when the leaders or the supporters meet. We just wonder what is going to happen in 2019 if somebody is not able to call these 2 leaders together to tell them that it is not just about them, but about Kano State and the people. It is the same Kano that these leaders, where they are fighting, you have so many people on the streets, so many children on the streets without food, without clothes, without education. Unfortunately, these leaders don't look at this direction. Okiri Agbonsuremi is my name. I have Uju Eje joining me on the platform this morning. Uju, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Ohiria. Ohiria, I believe it's not just the leaders that should be talked to. The followers, those who fight for them, should also talk to themselves, because when the chiefs are down, their children are abroad schooling in some of the best schools, and you are here, they tell you go and fight and kill yourself, injure yourself, you have no family to back you up in the process, and you go and you endanger your life and you render your family helpless in such situations. It is wrong.
And Mustafa Mohammed is here, smarting from the celebrations. Mustafa, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Ohiria. The situation in Kano, very unfortunate. Governor Kwankwaso, 2 terms, did wonderfully well in terms of human capital development and infrastructure. But I think it's better, it's high time for the big uncle there to understand that he is no longer the governor of that state. And then the current governor, Ganduje, needs to understand the importance of peace. He needs to look at the Northeast and what is happening. He needs to also talk to his supporters too, so that we can have a very peaceful situation in the commercial center. The cost of crisis in Kano will be very high and immeasurable if there is any.
Now, we also know the root of the crisis, Dr. Amicha. We know the root of the crisis. It's not just that this is boiling into some violence. It's all over Nigeria, where a governor or a president leaves power for a godson, then the person turns around. The only one that we thought was very beautiful, you remember Shikafi and Yerima in Zamfara
Which
State.
was a deputy also.
That was a deputy. We were very happy that
in Kano.
Yeah,
but it will always come to that. The governor always, former governor, wanting to continue to exert influence, but the deputy will say no. A new king is in town. A new sheriff in town is in town. One thing the kingmakers do immediately after crowning a king is to first take a bow. But the situation will continue as long as godfathers refuse to understand that the world is dynamic, especially political power. But my concern is in Benue State, where over 110,000 people were displaced. The flooding started on Wednesday, and it was only on Saturday that the DG of a National Emergency Management Agency got there. I was just reading accounts of IDPs. We now have IDPs in Makurdi.
Yes, they are internally displaced.
Yes, a reading account of what have been provided for them in their camps. No basic tools and equipment, no mattresses.
And Dr. Amici, somebody was saying that if we take a look at what's happening in Texas, and with what is happening and the reactions of particularly the coverage of the media, that it storms down for the Nigerian media. They didn't do enough coverage of the situation in Benue. We were also very busy also reporting what is happening in Texas, when just under our nose here we have a crisis. And the questions that you naturally want to ask is, what stories are the media following in Texas? Well, the stories they are following is the arrival of the president. Yesterday he was there a second time distributing materials by himself. President Trump, over 70 years old.
And what do we have in Nigeria?
No, just before we even get to Nigeria, the vice president relocated to that place and told them, I will not live here until everybody is satisfied.
Maybe our own vice president was in Abuja hosting the Kabil party. Yeah. Then the president was also in Daura, hosting friends, schoolmates, and enjoying the Salah. I begin to ask, who are the top government functionaries that have moved down to the Makurdi district, except the DG of NEMA, who went there belatedly. Maybe
the governor too. The
governor who is apparently overwhelmed.
But if you're going to assess that, you need to look at the kind of life the IDPs are living. Right now, cholera is killing so many of them. As far as we are concerned, the emergency management in Nigeria, both the state and that of federal, have actually failed. The president can be excused because of his ailing health, but at least the vice president, after the Eid Kabir party, should have flown there to see what is happening to the Nigerian situation. If you are if you belong to the mass in court in Nigeria, if anything happens to you, you are on your own.
And we don't even need to excuse the president. If we have to call it a spade, we call it a spade. We don't have to excuse the president. The president shouldn't be excused on the account of whether he's feeling fine or he's not feeling fine. He doesn't even need to even physically be there if he's not feeling fine. But his body language towards the crisis, his pronouncement, his directive can be felt on the ground. If he asks the vice president, you must go relocate to Benue State and go and find out what is happening there. Talk to me from there. I want to hear what is happening. The vice president will abandon the party in the villa here and go to that place and find out what is happening. And when the vice president or the president goes there, the relief will follow them. He will see
other top government functionaries will begin their eye services and begin to move there. Even if you say the president is not, the president said he's of sound health. That when he landed in Katsina and flew with a helicopter to Daura, the crowd, we were told, was so much that he had to walk 15 minutes from the helipad to his house. If someone can do that, what stops him from making a whistle stop visit? Is it not aircraft?
It's aircraft.
What about our ministers?
There's an Air Force base in Makurdi.
There's no excuse whatsoever.
What about our ministers, internal affairs ministers, all of them? Where are they?
I think the problem is we have emphasized the problems before, and we'll talk about this again. But let's go to our mailbox. Let's see who is talking to us through political platform at yahoo.com, and we'll have time to come and do analysis of some of these sundry developments we have promoted. Please stay with us.
Bust it.
They present the popular radio program Political Platform on the Ray Power FM network. Ray Power FM Political Platform, now on television. Keep track of the country's polity and be part of the process as they discuss and put political developments in the country into perspective. It's Ray Power Political Platform on AIT Abuja.
Welcome back from the break. It's the mail segment, and I'm Amaka Okoro.
And I am Ujueje.
We begin with a mail on the Salah celebration, and this is coming from Comrade Monday Ame in Abuja. The mail reads, "Our gallant troop and security agents deserve all encomium and commendation for ensuring that the people of Benue State, and indeed the entire Northeast, were able to celebrate Salah in the state without any hitch or major incident. This success is an indication that the end of the insurgency war is close at hand. The government and the military high command should ensure that the welfare of troops in the theater of war are well taken care of and their allowances paid as and when due, as well as provide them with more sophisticated weapons. Finally, I call on all Nigerians to support the troop in their quest to finally degrade and crush the remnants of Boko Haram sect, and that occasionally attack soft targets so that the IDPs can return to their homes. Once again, Baraka de Salah to our Muslim brethren."
And this one comes from Oko Chukwuka from Isuzo, Enugu State. He says, "It's no longer news that the recent flood in Benue State has displaced thousands of people from their homes, with the attendant destruction of lives and property worth millions of naira. It is commendable that President Muhammad Buhari has directed the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to immediately respond to the natural man-made disaster. But that is not enough. The challenges the flood victims are facing are beyond the state government and NEMA, and I am using political platform to appeal to well-meaning Nigerians to donate generously towards the alleviation of the sufferings of those in various internally displaced persons camps in the state. In the same vein, President Muhammad Buhari can approach the National Assembly to approve Emergency Flood Victims Relief Fund to enable the government tackle the urgent needs of the victims. In addition to that, President Buhari should borrow a leaf from American President Donald Trump, who has visited Texas in the United States of America twice to commiserate with victims of Hurricane Harvey, which devastated that part of the country recently. May God continue to protect the Benue flood victims."
And still on the issue of flood ravaging parts of Nigeria, Nadi Ikechukwu from Gidon Mangoro in Abuja says, "The flood plight ravaging most states in Nigeria, Benue being the most recent, is a pointer to the insensitivity of those in power, both at state and federal government levels, to the people that voted them into power. It went further to prove that the lack of synergy between government and their agencies keep widening. I therefore urge the various levels of governments to bear in mind that aside fighting terrorism, kidnapping, corruption and the likes, that prevention and management of natural disaster is also their major responsibility, as they all threaten our social and economic existence. Our government should be proactive rather than being reactive to issues of natural disaster by working with established agencies such as NIMET, NEMA, MBS and others. God bless Nigeria."
And this one comes from Amechi Obochi, who wrote from Kubwa, Abuja. And he says, "The federal government recently appointed men and women of integrity into strategic positions in NNPC so as to move the corporation to the next level. What a good development that couldn't find even one person qualified both in learning and character from the southeastern part of the country to occupy even one of these positions. Anyway, my question is, the federal government, which is more dangerous, hate speech or hate action? Whatever is the answer, I urge President Buhari to try as much as possible to carry every part of the country along if the idea of agitation and hate speeches would be jettisoned. Let us practice the one Nigeria we preach."
Dixon Eka in Oju, Benue State, writes on the Kenyan Supreme Court judgment. The mail reads, "The Kenyan Supreme Court surprised the world as it gave a verdict against the victory of the sitting president in less than 1 month on the presidential election held in the middle of last month. This is a landmark judgment that will reshape the fate of electoral fraud in that country. Can we have such an arrangement where presidential elections appeal could go straight to the Supreme Court for quicker adjudication to make sure that cases of malpractices are decided before the winner is sworn in? The National Assembly should reconsider this aspect of our Electoral Act and amend it for us to have better elections in the country. On the other hand, our judiciary workers should learn from this verdict that it is not all about ruling government, but the truth. And this is how far we can go on today's mail segment. Do keep sending your mails to us. The route to reach us is politicalplatform@yahoo.com.
Busted!
They present the popular radio program Political Platform on the Ray Power FM network. Ray Power FM Political Platform, now on television. Keep track of the country's polity and be part of the process as they discuss and put political developments in the country into perspective. It's Ray Power Political Platform on AIT Abuja.
Thank you for remaining with us on the platform. And did I hear somebody say fake news? Yes, there was a cloning of the Twitter handle of an official of government, which says the president was going to travel to New York. And the Minister of Information quickly said, no, that is not true. The president is not going for a UN meeting. The last time we told you that AIT has been closed several. If you go to Facebook and check just put AIT there, you see so many, up to 10 different persons just using AIT to dish out news and information, fake information all over. We thought that it should end at a private level, but when you now say the president, then it's becoming it will become a big problem. But it's just for us to let you know that it's not a disease that affects just one person. It can affect. When you get the news on the social media, please cross-check again before you begin to believe it. The president is in Katsina and is in Daura. I mean, the Katsina state is in Daura and is not going to attend the UN meeting. It's fake news, cloned and written by somebody who just want to create problems. They didn't stop there. They went to the NTA. Old reports
in 2005 of the president's arrival in New York.
In New York, and they put it there.
Dig the story and pasted it to mean that the president just arrived
in New York. You know, so
I wonder at the minds of these kind of people who do this kind of things.
Well,
are they normal human beings?
It's to be expected in a society where so many people like Amechi who put it are jobless. They just stay and do whatever they want to do. Now let's face the more serious of the businesses. That is the medical doctors' strike. And Osemwahu is on the line. He's our correspondent. He's followed up during the weekend and during the holidays and up to today when the doctors say they are going on strike. What is happening? What have you found out? And why are the doctors on strike?
Thank you very much, Osiria. It's actually the National Association of Resident Doctors, not the Nigerian Medical Association.
Please come again.
The National Association of Resident Doctors that are on strike.
Okay, now what is the difference between the resident, for the benefit of our listener, what is the difference between the NMA and the resident doctors you are talking about?
Yes, the NMA are the consultants, the senior doctors, while the resident doctors are what you have like the student doctors. Those are just graduated, they are still learning the process.
To become consultants.
Yes, who will become consultants eventually.
But they actually form the bulk of the bulk of the medical hands we find in our public tertiary institutions who are on ground all the time.
Yes, they are always on ground. They do all the work. They just make consultation with the when they have bigger challenges.
So they now refer to the consultants.
Now what is the level of what impact can this have?
Actually, they had a meeting with the government team on Thursday that went through till Saturday morning. We were all there with them. They reached a memorandum of settlement, that's what they call it, and they all signed. But there is a clause at the end of that memorandum of settlement which says the resident doctors will have to consult with their National Executive Council to reach an agreement whether or not to accept the memorandum of settlement reached. So they promised to do that before Monday, which is today. But we were invited yesterday by the doctors for a briefing around 4 p.m. We waited all through. The doctors did not brief. And they now told us that the venue is being occupied by a church and that their meeting will start by 7 p.m. We waited till 7 p.m. They didn't start. But later around 3 a.m., when we all departed, the doctors sent us a message that they are
starting the strike today. What is the problem actually? What are the issues?
The issues are numerous. They have the issue of shortfall in salary from 2016 and from some months in 2017. Remember that in 2013 they also went on strike. 2013 they were pushing for the rest of to be included in the integrated payment salary structure, what they call IPPIS, and also for the pension contributory arrangement, which they were not involved. But they reached an agreement in 2013 that their names should be included in all this, but government still has not included their names. The government has not implemented the agreement reached in 2013. So that is one of the major complaints they have.
Abulu, there's an agreement.
Hello?
There was an agreement. There's an agreement that is not implemented.
Yes, there's an agreement 2013 that has not been implemented over the pension, contributory pension scheme, and also the inclusion of resident doctors in integrated salary payment structure, which has not been implemented.
Now that we are talking to you, can you also tell us about ASU? What is the state of the strike of the Academic Staff Union of Universities?
Well, ASU boycotted a meeting called by the federal government last week because they said the agreement they reached in an earlier meeting was they will consult with their zonal branches to get back to government. According to them, they got back to government via a letter they sent to the Ministry of Labor. And they didn't receive any reply, only for the ministry to invite them for a meeting. And they said they will not attend any meeting until government reads the letter they've sent and respond to the letter before they will attend.
So what we are telling us now is that we do not have a headway with the negotiations.
Yeah, we hear there's going to be a meeting likely when work resumes on Tuesday. We're not sure yet. ASU is not picking its call. They are not telling us anything.
All right.
So does that mean that the hospitals right now do not have doctors to attend to people, or just only the consultants?
Well, the main doctors will be in the hospitals. That is the consultant. That is the Nigerian Medical Association. They will be in the hospitals.
How effective can they be without the resident doctors? Usually when they are on strike like this, what does the hospital look like?
Well, you still have the nurses there. You have the senior nurses there. You have the midwives there that will assist the doctors in between.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Abulu Semahu, our correspondent, labor correspondent, feeding us in with the situation.
Here the resident doctors are not student doctors, so to say.
Yeah,
they are still learning.
Yeah.
There are doctors who have done their housemanship, done their youth service, and are practicing. But if you want to become a consultant pediatric, gynecologist, you now do housemanship. Yeah. It's the housemanship. Not all doctors are house doctors, but when you become a consultant, then you specialize in a particular area. Now that they're on strike, you have more of house resident doctors in the hospitals. They handle the initial cases. If it requires experts, they refer you to a consultant. So the consultants will now do the bulk of the job.
This is actually an accumulation of the problems we had over the years. As a result of bad policies, you have people going to Europe and America when they have headache and Qatar. Just our backyard, these French colonies like Cotonou, Togo, Niger, Chad, Cameroon, the French colonies, they are as small and as poor as these countries are. Their medical systems are better than us. And do you know why we have this problem at the tertiary level? Because the primary health care is dead.
Collapsed.
It has collapsed.
Dr. Olukoya Rasonkuti of blessed memory, as at that time Minister of Health, did a lot, and his records go high. If you take a look at the records, you know he was one man who came, and the government have built on this successfully over the years. We have at least even communities having primary health care, but how useful are they? That is the question. Mustafa.
Empty buildings.
That is
well, a hospital like National Hospital should not handle malaria or typhoid.
Yeah,
it's a specialist hospital. Yes. Teaching hospitals are not supposed to handle such. But the bulk of patients that swim to those places are those basic preventable diseases. So because of the failure of primary health care.
We'll just wrap up now by talking. We're still re-emphasizing the situation in Benue. It is one that we have seen a lot of people, politicians, all of them getting down to Benue with whatever thing they have. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was the one that led the way, or one of those who were the front line of taking relief to that area. Many politicians, particularly in Benue, are also doing that. We have the situation that is actually clearly above the strength of the state government. They cannot handle it. The local government cannot handle it. And it is not because they were not structured to be able to handle it, because we have neglected it all over the years.
They're ill-prepared for emergency situations.
They are ill-prepared for emergency situations because we don't emphasize. Somebody wrote to us, one of those letters that we couldn't read, that the water that is high in Benue is flowing into the Niger and is going to Kogi. Are the people in Kogi getting ready for the flood to meet them?
Even Niger is across.
Niger across to the other areas. Now, how ready are we when we come to emergency? That is actually the crux of the matter. We sing about it when it happens. We talk about it, and when the dry season comes,
everybody forgets.
We forget about it.
The truth of the matter is, people become governors ill-prepared. You don't know what exactly you want to do beyond the blazing sirens that they drive you around. They call you Your Excellency. You carry the money, change them into dollars, travel abroad. Not just Benue, almost all the governors, when there's an emergency situation, they begin to look towards the federal government. It's unfortunate. They really need to go back to drawing board.
All right.
The states are supposed to have their state emergency management, so that when the federal national emergency group delays or fails, the state will be the first reaction to emergency.
Of course, the Senate did a lot of work to revive the SEMA when Uche Ekunife was the chairman Environment Committee. They did a lot to revive them, but most of the states were not responding. It was a problem at that time.
Uju, if you ask, where the budgets we have for the ecological funds
exactly
over the years?
But that this has also been an issue, exactly.
It was Joshua Dareye that told us how he donated
to PDP. A PDP governor, former governor of Benue State, is presently undergoing trial for the misappropriating ecological funds meant for Benue State.
He's not the only one.
All right. When we get to where we are going to face the problems head on, we'll find solutions. But as long as we are hypocritical about it, we are pretentious about it, and we do not want to face it the way, this is what the kind of
many of the governors don't know how to swim when there's a flood.
No, but you see, they're not usually the ones who suffer. It's the poor Nigerians that die.
We have to wrap it up here now. When we come back tomorrow, is a work day. Continue to enjoy your holidays and stay out of trouble. And whatever thing you can do to assist those in Benue, please don't fail. Don't tell us you don't know the road to Benue, you don't know where to drop. Please search the net. You will know where to drop your relief. From Okiri Agbonsuremi here. Please do have a wonderful time out there.
Bust it!